Like to introduce yourself?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know why my camera's not working, but hi, I'm Paulo. I make high energy, empowering rap music. A lot of it's inspired by anime, and I'm excited to be here and learn more about marketing.
Yes, we are huge fans here at Finesse Media of you, Apollo Fresh. Are you working on anything currently?
Yeah, I'm working on my first NFT drop. It's a song called "Rich Off the Internet." I'm really excited to release it. Yeah,
I love the
Nice.
name. Sounds awesome.
thank you.
Here
Cool.
for it.
Thank you, Apollo. Oh, also, where are you from?
Um, I'm Haitian, and I grew up in Broward County, Florida.
Nice. Cool. Well, thank you for being here today. And let's call on another person. I'm so sorry if I butcher your name, but Shoval?
That was pretty close. It's Cheval, but I just usually go by Val here because so many people think it's a shovel, and I have to be like, no. So I'm actually a psychology student, but I also write and produce music, mostly pop and bubblegum pop. I'm originally from Israel, currently in the US, and very, very excited to be here and learn from you guys.
Nice. I was also a psychology student, so woohoo. Glad you're here today. And let's call in a couple more people. How about, I'm probably gonna butcher your name, but Takam.
Taquam. Hi,
Yeah.
everyone. My name is Taquam. I'm currently a communication student at UMGC, and I'm excited to learn about marketing today. Oh, and I am, I'm really interested in music as well. So trying to like bridge both the music and marketing together is probably my main dream right now. So
Perfect. Are you working on anything currently?
not currently, no. I'm applying to internships to hopefully try and get some hands-on experience. So yeah.
Got it. Wish you the best. Thank you
Thank
for being
you.
here. Cool. How about Petey? Are you able to introduce yourself? That's totally fine. We'll call on someone else.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, hey everybody. I'm a producer and musician from Chicago. Just came across this on Eventbrite randomly, figured I'd join, maybe get some good insights and see what's up.
Awesome. Well, you are in the perfect place. Are you working on any projects currently?
Nothing at the moment. I used to produce and, I do have a band and stuff. So I kind of don't produce as much anymore, but working more on the band side of things, live performances, stuff like that.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here today. And we are going to call on Lynell.
Yeah, sorry, it's Linnell. Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Currently reside in Georgia. Originally a photographer, videographer. I started getting into music, doing my own music. So I want to get more into the marketing of it because I work with a lot of artists that can use, marketing as well as myself.
Cool. Are you working on anything currently?
I'm working on a EP, but it's still in its early state. So.
Got it. Thank you for being here today and wish you best on your project. And we're going to call in a couple more people, and I see some familiar faces. Shoni, hello. Did I pronounce your name right?
Yes, it's Shawnee.
Oh, Shani.
Hey guys, my name is Shawnee. I'm a singer-songwriter based in New York as well. And I love this place. I love coming here every Saturday. You guys always drop great gems, and I just love the atmosphere. Currently what I'm working on, I have an EP that's about to drop next week. Whoop, whoop. And yeah, just been growing and building my production company on the side. So that's about it.
Love it. Thank you for being here today. And it's always amazing to see you here on our Saturday events. And I see that Nehemiah, are you in here by any chance? Would you like to introduce yourself?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
All right, cool. Hi. Yeah, sorry, I'm driving. But yeah, I'm a rapper from Chicago. I'm working on my 7th EP right now. And just trying to build a brand. That's it. Good to see you guys.
You're always killing it. Thank you for being here today. Cool. All right, Emily, if you're in here, take it away.
Okay, yes, I'm back. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here at another one of Finesse's weekly events. We have an amazing panelist that you all are going to hear from in just a minute. But before she blows us all away, I'd love to introduce myself and my co-host. So my name is Emily. I'm a social media marketer and event coordinator at Finesse Media. So now I'll pass the mic over to my co-host.
Hello again, I'm Abby Martinez. I'm an event coordinator and music journalist lead here at Finesse Media. We are so happy and excited to have you all here today to discuss music marketing. And so get a pen and paper because you will probably hear a lot from our panelists today, and you'll hear a lot of advice and noteworthy moments. So definitely have something to take notes on. And so marketing is an essential skill in the music industry. And in order to get your music out there, you need to have a good marketing campaign, especially one that fits your personal style as well as the needs of your desired audience.
So in today's events, we'll be discussing the importance of music marketing, some marketing strategies that you as independent artists could utilize, and we'll give you some tips and tricks on how to build your fan base. To do this, we'll start off with a little conversation with our panelists, and then around the 45-minute mark, we'll give all of you the chance to ask any questions that you'd like. So now, I'd love to introduce you to our amazing panelist, Lynn Banks. So Lynn is the president of an international music marketing and brand development agency, Icon Island. She's been working in the industry for a decade, and she also has her master's in entertainment management. Her company has worked with such amazing artists such as Lil Baby, Charli XCX, Mac Miller, Machine Gun Kelly, and so much more. So let's welcome Lynn. Hello. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. That was a beautiful intro.
Well, you have an amazing lineup, so good job.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just want to say I also love the diversity that you guys have brought to the table of people coming to these events, and also how everyone does something so different, and there's lots of different types of people in the room, so I really appreciate that.
We appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So how's it going, Lynn? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. It's going good. You know, it's a holiday here in Canada today, so it's actually pretty chill. So I'm pretty happy to get to do this and not feel like wound up with like New Music Friday just being yesterday, you know, because that can be kind of hectic sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of us here today are so impressed with like your career path. And so we also are curious about like how you got to where you are. So can you tell us a bit about how you got started in the music industry and how you reached your position today?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's been an insanely long journey. As you said, I've been in the game for 10 years, but just know that like, you know, it takes persistence. Like that's how long it really takes. Like when artists look at some of the biggest acts in the world, like it's been 10 years, you know? I remember when I was first coming up, I actually got to see The Weeknd, like when he was like homeless, like sleeping on a friend's couch, and to see where he is now, I'm like, that took 10 years. Like where I was 10 years ago, just starting, he was at that same place. So, you know, you just got to remember that like everyone has to start, right? But honestly, I actually come from a super small town. I was raised on a very tiny island off like the east coast of Canada called Newfoundland. So there's not really a music scene there. So as soon as I got out of high school, I came right to Toronto, didn't know anybody, didn't have any connections. And I was like, all right, I have to start somewhere. So I actually started as a door girl working at different clubs as a door girl, because I thought everyone has to walk through the front door. That's the best way to start to meet people, and people get to know who I am, because they're like, oh yeah, I saw you at the door at like this venue or like that venue, you know? And then from there, I just honestly ranked myself up the hierarchy. I started doing way more than I needed to do to prove like my worth and be like, oh yeah, like Lynn could help us with that. Lynn could do this. And then eventually got to a place where they asked me to like come backstage and help with the onboarding and help with the buying of the talent and stuff like that. That's how I got to get in with like Mac Miller's team. And I did like the Smokers Club tour, which is like pretty much one of his first tours. I did Machine Gun Kelly's first ever tour when he was just blowing up, all that sort of stuff. And then that really kind of helped me really launch myself forward. Me and Mac actually became pretty close. He gave me a shout out on Twitter, so that helped me a lot as well. Everyone was like, who the fuck is this person? And then from there, I just was in the event space now all of a sudden, you know, buying into shows and stuff like that. But honestly, that kind of wore me out really quickly because events are insane. I mean, you're up to like 4 or 5 every morning and then back up again at 10. And like, it's insanity. So I was like, this is going to age me like crazy quickly. Like, I got to do something, you know? So I realized that I was actually putting a lot of artists on to the shows as openers. And I was like giving them all these opportunity. And I was like, I know how to do all this stuff. Like I should be managing these artists because I can help them way more than just like putting them on a show. I can actually help them evaluate like, okay, I got this show. Now, how do I level up from this major opportunity? Right. And then from there, I started managing artists. I went to school. I got my degree because I thought that was important. And I ended up meeting my business partners. They were at the time building a studio and I was like, yeah, let's partner. We can create like an incubator program because we have a studio, you know, and I just kind of hustled my way to the top. And then eventually we started managing out of that studio, Yoko Gold, who's Tory Lanez's brother. And then we started doing tours with them. And then, you know, just kind of went up from there. And then our company got bought out by somebody. So I took my buyout. I created Icon. That was about 5 years ago. And I've just been doing my thing independently. I've never really been like a corporate person. You know, I've always liked to do my own thing because I have a very left-sided creative brain. And it's been great because all those relationships I've built over the years, I've been able to pull that into Icon and obviously work with some really talented, you know, major artists who are doing great things, which has been awesome. So I feel very grateful. But just know like it was an insane amount of hustle. Like I remember at one point, like I was drinking Red Bulls like 4 times a day, you know what I mean? So
oh my God, that's crazy. You can literally make a book off of your life story.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride, I'll say.
For sure. And it sounds like networking is key. You met a lot of people on the way and now you're here. So that is like really cool to hear. And a lot of us in the audience today are rising artists who are probably like familiar with music marketing or still getting to know music marketing. So what is music marketing and why is it important?
So I think everyone, funny enough, has like a different definition of marketing. To me, marketing is just sort of spreading your brand awareness in different promotional avenues, pretty much. So some people would say Facebook ads are marketing, but to me, that's one form of like an overall marketing campaign. Because to me, marketing is like multiple things that you're doing to help you achieve like one major goal, right? It's not just like one single thing. So that's what it kind of means to me. But I think everyone, like every panel I've listened to, everyone has their own definition, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And so, like I said, there's a lot of rising artists here in our audience today learning about music marketing. And you mentioned that music marketing it's like an umbrella of things. There's a lot of things a lot of levels within music marketing, and everyone has like their own definition of it. And so why don't we go over like, what are some essential components of music marketing, or actually, what are some essential components of a music marketing plan and what makes a good campaign?
Yeah, so I think what makes a good marketing campaign is first and foremost sitting down and deciding like, what are my goals? What am I actually trying to accomplish? You know, like, am I trying to strictly blow up on Spotify? Do I have a video and I'm trying to grow Spotify, YouTube, and my visual presence? Like, where am I trying to cultivate my fan base? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? You know, it's overall writing down like those goals, because we have a lot of artists reach out to us and like, what would you do? And I'm like, well, what are your goals? It's not about what I would do. Like every single artist has a different path because they're trying to accomplish different things. I know one of the artists mentioned he had like a documentary. That's very different than just dropping an audio single, you know? So everyone has their own unique sort of release. And I think they have to, first and foremost, evaluate their goals. Once you have your goals, you can then sit down and think about, how can I roll out different aspects on each platform to achieve these goals? Because I think a lot of artists forget that it's not just Instagram. It's not just like just drop the single on Spotify and cross your fingers. Like, you have to think about all the social outlets. And like, I would say pick your top 3, because I think a lot of artists try and dominate every single social media platform. And it's like, it's too much, right? As social media managers, you guys know, it's like, it's just way too much to take on. So I would say pick your top 3. Let's say it's going to be TikTok, Facebook, or not Facebook. What am I saying? TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, right? They all have different mediums of ways to do them. Like Twitter is a communication and a conversation platform. So you're going to want to have conversations with fans. TikTok is a video only platform. Instagram is a photo and video platform. So now you can say, okay, here's my goals. Here's what I'm trying to do. And then what pieces of content do I need to make for each of those things to make each of those things last the longest I can? And you can use automation apps too, to like write out a bunch of ideas for Twitter and just automate those tweets. You know, save all your drafts, schedule them. You can do that now on Facebook Business Manager. You can schedule all your posts on Instagram. You could do that for, if you have 4 or 5 posts ready to go, schedule them all. And then you don't have to think about it. TikTok, another great example. If you're making content for TikTok, you can repurpose that content on TikTok and post it on Instagram Reels, or vice versa. If you make something for Instagram Reels, post it on TikTok. Like, now that's one less thing that you need to do, you know? And also, I think artists need to think of content more as like an artistic outlet for them. Because I think a lot of artists get intimidated by their content, like, I don't want to make content. And I'm like, it's a way for you to express yourself artistically. You know, you get to come up with creative ideas of what types of videos do you want to make that are about your brand, what that express your brand, that talk about your brand. And then how do you want to shoot them? How do you want to edit them? You know, what colors represent you as a brand, like all these different things. And it's a form of creativity. You know, it's not like a job, like it's a creative outlet for you to think up cool ideas and have that, all those creative things you have like come out. And then people are going to connect with that. And that's how you're going to build your audience, because you'll be like, oh, I resonate with that. I connect with that video or the song or the lyrics or whatever. So it's a great way to like just have another artistic lane.
Yeah, solid advice. And so you heard it here first, everyone in the audience. Get clear about your vision. That is so important, that you know what you want out of your music career, and pick your top 3 platforms. And so you can pick TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, anything that you decide you feel that you're comfortable with and that you can make a lot of content that are going to last. And so your platforms are extensions of you and your creative outlets. It doesn't have to feel like a job. Utilize it the way like you create your music, you know? And so Lynn, for independent artists out there who don't have a budget necessarily, what are some basics of marketing that they should know?
So, we're in a beautiful time in technology right now where you don't need to have a crazy budget. You just need to put in the time, you know? There's a lot of really amazing examples on TikTok of artists who just put in a shit ton of time into creating videos, and they're blowing up their music there, and they're not putting in tens of thousands of dollars, you know? And I think also, this is the biggest tip I can ever give you. So many artists go and look at a major celebrity on TikTok and be like, I'm going to do that. Like Lizzo. They'll be like, she makes funny content. I'm going to make funny content. Lizzo has already cultivated a massive audience. She can do whatever the fuck she wants and it will slap. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter. She doesn't need to articulate her brand or create creative videos for people to resonate with her. Like she's way beyond that. You know what I mean? She eats food and everyone's like, I love you. You know what I mean? Like, she already has a huge fan base. Stop looking at major celebrities. Look at independent artists who are blowing up on their own, and use them as your platform as examples. Every time I send artists examples, like when we're running TikTok ads, I give my artists a list of like 7 videos. Like, here's example videos that have done really well on TikTok. And I send them, and every single one is an independent artist. It's not a major artist, because what major artists are doing, it's not going to work for you, because we don't realize when you pull the curtain back, like, their label could be putting money into every single video on ads. Like there's so many things that you don't realize. So looking at an independent artist is a great way. One of my favorite people who's actually done it completely independently is like Nick D. I don't know if you've ever seen that guy. He's the Lemons guy. He had like the Lemon song and the video like blew up and then he kind of exploded, but then he just kept aggressively going at it. And I saw his streams climb from like 10,000. The song's now at like 23 million streams. And it's because he produced like 27 videos for the same song. Like one video went viral and he was like, I can do it again. And he just kept making video. And then next thing you know, out of 27 videos, 10 went viral and that converted into a massive amount of streams, right? And with TikTok, I mean, unfortunately, you do have to hit 1,000 followers before you can put a link in your bio, but there's a lot of trackable links out there that you can use to like really see like where's the traffic coming from. And once you see that you're having that conversion from TikTok, just go crazy. Like it's the algorithm's going to work in your favor if you just post, like just go nuts. And the beautiful thing about TikTok is you can take a Sunday, like a Sunday afternoon, right? Plan out your content. Here's 4 videos I'm going to make Sunday. Go film all 4. Change your t-shirt each video, new video. Boom, done. Now the entire week, you don't have to make content. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, fuck, I got to post on TikTok. Like, what do I post? You're like, I already have the video. I'm good. You know, if you post every second day on TikTok, 4 videos a week is more than enough. And I always tell artists, there's a lot of misconceptions out there about TikTok. Like, oh, you need to post 4 times a day. That's aggressive. Nick D is an example of someone who posts once a day and it really does go crazy, but obviously he does this full time now. So once again, he's making enough money where he can produce a video a day. Most indie artists either have a job or are doing other things and don't have time for that. So I would say like, you know, as long as you stay consistent, that's really the goal on TikTok is like, even if it's every second, third day, just staying consistent so the algorithm knows like you're active. That's what it takes. Consistency is everything. You know, it's really not about like the amount of content because you can make 1 quality video or even 3 quality videos, post them a few days apart, and they could all go crazy. And that's more valuable than 10 videos and 1 of them pops. Because it took you way more time and effort to make 10 videos than it did to put a lot of time and energy into 3 really good videos, you know?
Yeah. And speaking of TikTok, in the chat, Mike said TikTok also pays attention to trending filters of the day. And so you can like incorporate that into your content as well. So that's another thing. There's so many things about TikTok. And like you pointed out a lot of great points about it. And so
yeah. With TikTok, honestly, the biggest thing is 1, having a good hook. Because think about it. All you do is scroll. As soon as it scrolls, like you got to get my attention instantaneously. You got to have a good hook. Using the right hashtags. And also if you're a new artist and you're trying to figure out like, how do I build on TikTok? You could tap into a lot of duets and stuff like that as well. Like, I mean, Russ is a great example. He's done a lot of duets on his channel. And then he actually picked someone from the duet who did the best duet and actually released a remix with them. So, I mean, that would put you on the map crazy. But regardless, like, because he's doing a duet and he has a massive fan base, if you're like, oh, I'm kind of in his lane, I'm going to do a duet. And then all of that traffic from that duet is going to come look at my video. You know, so you can do little hacks like that where you don't have to think of like your own creative idea. Like it could just be riding off of what someone else is doing and kind of making that your success point, right?
Definitely. And everyone in the audience, literally Lynn just like created an entire marketing plan for you. So I hope you're taking notes.
You just dropped so many gems there. So like, when it comes to TikToks, have that hook, have the hashtags, and do some duets. That's a good plan. That's a good plan.
Yes. Absolutely.
So we talked about TikTok and like other social media, but what are some other music marketing platforms that you think artists could utilize to promote their music?
Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Instagram ads. We used to do a lot of Instagram and Facebook ads. We'd like 50-50 split it, but most of the conversion, most of the conversion comes from Instagram ads. We found it's a little bit higher of cost per conversion rate, but it's more it ends up being more valuable in the long run. And so for an artist, like I told this strategy to so many artists and I was like, utilize this. On Instagram ads, don't go to your post and click boost post. That's not going to do anything besides drive your views. And that doesn't help because there's no engagement behind that. what you want to do is go to YouTube, do a basic tutorial on how to use the business manager on Facebook, because that's how you run ads properly on Instagram and Facebook. business.facebook.com, claim your page, done deal. There's a million tutorials on YouTube, how to like use the basics of it. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to run Instagram ads on the business manager, not on that little boost post, because it doesn't do shit. And what you're going to want to do is run conversion ads. Don't run view ads or like reach the most people. That doesn't do shit. You want to convert people to something, whether that's your YouTube video, your Spotify link. Those two pretty much work the best for conversions, because that's like everyone's on Spotify, everyone's on YouTube, right? So if you have a conversion link, like learn more, listen now, stream now, whatever, that goes to Spotify or YouTube, literally game changer. And the beautiful thing is you can spend $1 a day. On TikTok, the minimum ad spend right now is $20 a day. So someone might not have $20 a day, $100 a week. It's a little more pricey. Instagram doesn't give a shit. They're like, you want to spend $1 a day? We got you. Like, so you could literally spend $1 a day. That's $30 a month. I know all you in this chat are spending more than $1 a day on a coffee or a tea. You know what I mean? You got $1. I know you got $1, spend $1 a day. And guess what? At the end of the 30 days, you can look at that and be like, what targets did the best? What similar artists got the most conversions? What cities and countries? And then the next month you could do $5 a day and get even more results, because you have a better database to work with and more understanding of, I ran all these ads for $1 and this is what performed the best. Now I'm going to amp that up and get even more. And really and truly, if you're driving traffic from an Instagram ad to Spotify, there is no question that your algorithms are going to get activated and work in your favor. And that's free streams. That's free money. That's a free fan base right there. So I always encourage artists to do that, because very simple, definitely does take some time for sure. Of course, it's a time and money rule. Either spend the money or spend the time, right? So you can spend the time, teach yourself that stuff. And then when you are ready to hire an agency, you do have a little bit more of an understanding of like, what is working for you? What are your best similar artists? All those things, so that that company can do their best job,
Yeah, no, definitely. That makes a lot of sense. And $1 a day, that's like a small investment for something that could bring like
super small,
good, such good results. And I know like Facebook, that's like one of the main like platforms where you like, once you know how to use Facebook ads, you're like set.
Game over.
And I know Facebook has like the Facebook Blueprint courses, which are free and are super useful. If you ever want like a free course to go learn how to use their platform and their ads.
Google has that too, by the way. Sorry to cut you off, but on Google, if you want to learn how to run YouTube ads through Google yourself, not like TrueViews, because TrueViews is not that great, but like official Google ads. So your ad actually comes up on like YouTube videos and shit like that. Google has a free course. And the cool thing is you do their course at the end, you get like certified as like a Google ad specialist, which is cool because you could then charge other artists for that service. And as an artist, you could be then making money and then also blowing up your own music at the same time. And YouTube and Google are not as complicated to run ads on. Facebook is a little more in depth, but there's lots of courses. And like I said, YouTube University is everything. Like there's so many good videos that are like 20-minute crash courses on like how to set up conversion ads on Instagram and Facebook. So
yeah, definitely. Those videos, they'll teach you a lot.
Yeah, they will. They really will.
So let's just spin the conversation back to you a bit now, Lynn. So you and your company have worked with such incredible artists, like we've said before, like Mac Miller, Machine Gun Kelly, and so much more. So of all the campaigns you've worked on, which one was your favorite?
Honestly, it's hard to say I have a favorite, because every single campaign, like I said, is so different, and everyone's been like fun in its own way, like challenging, but like fun. You're like, oh yeah, how do we make this happen? Like I got to work on the Coi Leray TikTok marketing campaign for Gimme Licky, which was like a viral song on there. And that was super fun, so it's like, it was super fun, but was it my absolute favorite? I don't know. There were some other ones that were good too, but yeah, it's hard to say, because I feel like each campaign brings something different to the table. And I feel like it pushes me to the next level too, to like figure out what are the next things that I can expand my skill set on and like bring to the table for indie artists that like obviously majors are doing, or vice versa, and like really help elevate as best we can to like make sure the marketing campaign is going as far as it possibly can, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, were there any like marketing campaigns that you worked on that you kind of thought were maybe a bit out of the box, but ended up like working really well? Or
I would say that one, the Gimme Licky one, was pretty wild. Because I mean, Coi Leray is like a good weird, you know, like she's a very like weirdly interesting person. So like her marketing campaigns are also like weirdly interesting. They want to do things like different, you know. So that was very like, okay, you know. So we tried lots of different things. We had influencers do a lot of things, and we had ads do a lot of things. But then we also, someone on her team, I didn't come up with this idea, but someone on the marketing team in the US was like, oh, we need to get celebrities to like do this dance too. So then they, you know, had influence and they got some celebrities to do it. So there was lots of different like little weird things that like they did to kind of like really elevate that. And I thought it was very smart because she rose very quickly to the top, you know, like of course she put in years before that, but like when it started to take off, like it really it really took off, you know. Like most artists have like a year or two of solid consistent releasing, consistent marketing, and that's when it like takes off. But like with her, it was like quick, like a year, you know.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I guess that kind of ties into the fact that like your marketing should also fit your personality, since you are like building a brand through marketing. So I guess that's why it works out well too.
And speaking of branding too, like I feel like a lot of artists are like, I'm trying to find my brand, and I'm like, you are your brand. Like I just want artists to know that like you are your brand, like your brand is you. Like there's no finding your brand, like your brand is who you are. Just like we all have a thumbprint that, or fingerprint that nobody else has. That's the same thing for yourself. Like nobody's you. Yeah, there's 8 billion people in the world, but like nobody's you, you know. You have something interesting, unique, whether that's like your mental health journey or like your views or perspectives or like whatever that other people will be able to relate to, and you can cultivate that like niche audience. And I think like a lot of artists just like miss that mark where they're telling us all the time, like, yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what my brand is. And I'm like, who are you? What do you like? What movies do you watch? What music do you listen to? Like, what are your interests? What's your favorite color? Like, oh, blue and yellow. I'm like, great, there's your brand colors, blue and yellow. And they're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah, that's how easy it is. Like, it's not super, you don't have to overcomplicate it. And I feel like the best brands in the world keep it stupid simple, you know, like Nike, just do it. That's not insanely complicated. Like it's so simple, but like we all are like, yeah, just do it, you know? And like, so the more simple you keep it, and you just like really just focus on like, who am I? What do I like? What are my favorite things? Run with that. That's your brand.
Oh, I love that little analogy. You said like your brand is like your fingerprint, and you know, it's unique to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, everybody's different in some ways. So I mean, you just have to share yourself, and then once you put yourself out there, show the audience who you are, that's how you'll connect with your audience, right?
Yeah. And it's hard to be vulnerable on the internet, but vulnerability is like so key. Because even my own artist, like I was really pushing him. I'm like, listen, your TikTok's not hitting because you're coming off very like put together. Like you had a script and you read the script, and like no one's going to connect. People are going to read right through that and see that like it's very curated, you know? And I was like, we were in the studio and I was like, man, I was like really pushing him over the edge, right? Because sometimes artists need that push to like, and I was like, man, you just got to be vulnerable. Like, sick of this shit. Like, just be yourself. I'm leaving. I'm coming back. You better be yourself on this video. And he's like, okay. And he had a song called Anxiety, and he made a video and he's like, I made this shit for you guys. Like, you know, this is for us, like the mental health community. Like, this is not talked about enough. Like, this is for us. I made this for us. Like, cool little hook, totally accidental hook. Like, it wasn't curated. It was just like, that's how he felt. Very vulnerable. I struggle with anxiety. I made this song to talk about that, you know? And then boom, played the song. The video blew the fuck up. And we didn't do anything. Like, we didn't put money behind it. We put money behind it after it started blowing up. So we're like, obviously this is working. Like, it hit like 500,000 views. And then we're like, okay, now we need to like put fuel into this and keep it going. But like, you know, sometimes the most vulnerable things that you're going to do is what, first of all, is going to set you apart, because no one on the internet's being vulnerable right now. And not only is it going to set you apart, but it actually is going to connect the right people who are going to rock with you, buy your merch, buy a ticket to come see you, support your Patreon, whatever it is, stream your music on repeat. You know what I mean? Add it to their playlist and listen to it 500 times. We had a guy who had the anxiety song on a playlist. He listened to it 700 times in 28 days.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's absurd. But like, once again, once you find that person that's like, you touch my soul with this song, because that's what music does, right? It makes you feel something. And when you make that person feel something, it's like super fan instantaneously, you know? So try to be vulnerable if you can. I'm not saying like cry on camera or anything, you know, but like really share those parts of yourself that you might feel very like scared, like, oh, I don't want people to judge me or like know this about me. Like, those are the things that are going to help you get ahead, like truly, you know, as much as you think they'll hinder you, they'll actually help you a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh my God. I hope you guys are like writing this down. That was incredible. Just opening yourself up and like putting yourself out there. That's how you could connect with someone, and that's how you connect with your audience. I love that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So next question. The industry is like, it has changed quite a lot, especially with the pandemic and the rise of like more social media and whatnot. So have you seen like any marketing trends that have risen over the past few years that you think are really exciting and interesting, that you think independent artists would, you know, that you think they should jump on?
Yeah. So obviously, two things I'll say. The first one is the physical space is being very oversaturated because we were in a pandemic for 2 years. So the physical touring space is absurd right now. Like, there is 3 shows a night in Toronto right now. So you would think that that would mean there's lots of opportunity, but like in reality, there is opportunity, don't get me wrong, but it is hard because so many people are competing for that opportunity to open for you or be on that show. I mean, think about it. There's 20,000 songs a day being released on Spotify. That's absurd, you know? And I think that number's risen since the pandemic. I think they said it was up to like 40,000 or something. That wasn't confirmed by Spotify, but like, I'm pretty sure it's absurd right now. So there is a ridiculous amount of competition, but guess where there's not competition? In the digital world. There's no such thing as competition in the digital world because pretty much 80% of the fucking planet is on the internet. So there's no competing. So one of the biggest things that I will say to artists is, don't think that the industry standard, I need to be doing shows, go dominate the digital space. If you can't get shows, go on digital, you know? And one of the biggest things is the metaverse. And I know everyone's all up in their feelings about the metaverse, but it's amazing. And I've had multiple artists perform in the metaverse and do incredibly well. People can tip you in the metaverse in crypto or in cash. You can win prizes. You can create your own character. You can even make a fucking sweater merch, a merch sweater, and sell it in the metaverse. Like, guys, you never need to pay for a physical product again. Like, you can literally dominate. And guess who's doing that? Nobody. Maybe a few major artists, like Justin Bieber had a concert. Travis Scott did the Astro World thing. You know, there's a few artists, but like, once again, those are artists with the artists that I worked with that did it were independent, and it insanely helped them. Not only did the people in the metaverse have money to pay them to perform, because there's not any lack of money in the digital world, you know? And then secondly, once again, the people in the metaverse obviously have money to invest in crypto and all these things. So they're easily open to tipping you, buying your digital assets to wear, like wearable assets, all these types of things. So I would say heavily look into that. And it's pretty easy, honestly, because all the land in the metaverse is like, a lot of it's independently owned, and you can just go on OpenSea and see who owns it. Or most of these people have websites where you can go on and just email them and be like, hey, I want to perform. And also there's a lot of like casinos in the metaverse that people can go to, and you can hit up these casinos and they want talent, which is weird to think about, like talent in the digital casino, but like, it's true because they want people to come into the casino and play the games in the digital world, and they want talent to be there. So they have other components of interaction, not just like playing this game and then leaving. Like if there's live shows, if there's this, giveaways, whatever, it gives more opportunity for people to stay in that space longer. So that's the first thing. Dominate the digital space. Like, don't be scared. We're so early in Web3 that like you could be one of the pioneers and like make a dumb amount of money. I know a lot of artists. Actually, I'm making a video right now. It's taking me forever, but I'm making a video on 3 different artists that have made over 6 figures in the Web3 space. One guy made like $30,000 in 10 minutes selling his EP as like a tokenized NFT. Absurd. And like, think about $30,000, how many streams you would have to do to make $30,000, how many shows you'd have to do, you know? So it's crazy, but that's the first thing. Second thing is direct connection with your fans. So it's easy for someone to follow you on TikTok, right? But then every time you post a TikTok video, is that going to 100% get seen by that person? Maybe not, right? So when you're building an audience, you want to think about, how can I literally cultivate those fans and have one-on-one communication with them? Because we all forget, like if Instagram went down tomorrow, and let's be real, it has gone down a few times this year where everyone's like, I can't get on my Instagram. And it's like, that could easily happen, you know? So now if Instagram goes down even for a day and you drop your song on that day, there goes your marketing out the window. Like no one's seeing your song now because you don't have any way to connect with these people. So a big thing that I think is still super slept on is text messaging communities. So paying for a text number with a place like Community or Superphone or someone like that, there's quite a few options. So I would say shop around because it's not that cheap, but it kind of is for what you get. Like you get a phone number, you get like X amount of contacts, like it's pretty great, you know? But you can put that phone number in your Instagram bio, you can put it in your TikTok bio, and you can also incentivize people. You know, like text me and you get 20% off merch. Text me and you get, I'm going to pick someone to do a free ticket to my show. Text me and I'm going to do this. You know what I'm saying? You can incentivize people to text you. And once they text you, that's it. They're locked in. Right. And the cool thing about Community, what I like is that like, you can actually respond to people's text. It's not just like outgoing only text. Like you can actually have a conversation with them and like pull it up on your desktop and like literally conversate with your fans. And the beautiful thing is then every time you drop a song, every time you release merch, every time you're touring, doing a show, you can now text and you have 100 people, 1,000 people that you can directly communicate with and get your information to instantaneously, you know? So it's a very beautiful thing. And once again, I feel like I've only seen a lot of like major artists doing it. Like actually funny, Nipsey was kind of like a pioneer of that. He dominated. He sold like over 1 million copies of his album because of his text community. And he said that even his merch, the biggest thing with his merch was that he was constantly communicating and building one-to-one relationships. So someone would buy a piece of merch on his website and it would instantly text them like, hey, it's Nipsey. Thank you so much for buying a piece of merch. Like it means the world. And they would be like, Nipsey Hussle just text me, you know? And then all of a sudden it's like a really deep connection because when someone's a fan of you, they idolize you, you know? So even if you're not like major in your mind, like you're major to a fan. So like that little piece of communication can like turn them from a fan to like a super fan, you know, like, and make sure they buy every single thing that you come out with and pretty much like fund your career at that point, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. I see like fan engagement has been like becoming more and more important these days, which is really good because I think once you connect with that fan, like it just kind of makes them want to support you even more, which is super important. So I'm like, it's so nice to see the importance of fan engagement continuously rising in the music industry these days.
Absolutely. Super important.
Yeah, definitely. So, oh my God. So that was a lot of advice that you just gave. That was so perfect. So one, dominate the digital space, the metaverse, NFTs. So it's rising and it's super useful for independent artists. So that's great.
Absolutely.
That's a good area to get into. And of course, fan engagement.
Yes.
Okay, so,
and real quickly, Emily, sorry to interrupt you. Everyone in the audience, if you gain something new, if you learn something new today, can you unmute yourself and give me a woo woo? Music to my ears. Cool.
Love to hear it.
Oh my God, yeah, I learned so much. I can't even keep I'm full of information right now. Oh my God. Okay, well, that was all for the questions from Avi and I. So now, if it's okay, we'd love to head into a little audience Q&A. So
Yeah, absolutely.
right, yeah. So if anyone in the audience has a question, please feel free to raise your hand using the reaction button. And remember, we have a full audience today, so please keep your questions short and concise so we could get through as many as possible. So I saw Kingston Music had their hand up first, so you could go ahead.
Hello, thank you, Finesse, and appreciate your time. So sorry, Miss Lynn Banks. I was curious as to the phone number for texting.
Yep.
You had mentioned to get a separate number. Is this a standard, like a cell phone number? Or is this through some other type of? I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah, so a platform like Community, when you sign up with them, they actually give you a phone number. So you don't have to use like your own personal phone number. It's a separate number that they assign to you, and it comes with the monthly payment. So you pay them like a monthly fee, and that includes a phone number and then like a certain amount of contacts. I think like the entry level is up to like 1,000 contacts for free, and then up to like 100 messages per month, and that's all included in the plan. So if you were texting fans directly, like that would cost you per message, all these different things, right? So the beautiful thing is you can sign up with like a Community, or Superphone is another good one. It's a little bit cheaper because they do like pay per message, like it's like 1 cent per message kind of thing. So if you're not sending like an insane amount of messages every month, like it might work out to be cheaper. That's why I said do the math. But Community is pretty much like one of the main ones that most artists use. So I'd suggest checking them out, and then you'll see all the information of like what's included in the package, but the phone number is included. So you can post that phone number everywhere and know that's all going to my Community. And then the cool thing with Community is in the back end, you can also set up automation things like people enter their birthdays, for an example, and you can automate that every time someone has a birthday, text them happy birthday from me, or send them a video clip of you singing them happy birthday. So like as an artist, that's like game changing, little things like that that can make people feel like they're very special to you. So Community is a great way to automate a lot of the conversation and communication with your fans.
And that's to drive engagement rather than just people checking out your site. It's the important thing is to make them feel part of the community and to connect with them. And then once you do that enough, you get if I'm understanding this right, you get a critical mass, and then you can approach perhaps management or hopefully a label, and they'll see how you've increased your engagement. Which if I'm making sense, it's the morning.
Yeah, no. Absolutely. No, you're making total sense. Okay. Yeah, 100%. So the beautiful thing is like once you cultivate that audience to your Community phone number, you can use it for so many things. Like you said, you can be sharing direct updates with them. Like, hey guys, I'm so excited to share my new song with you. Here's the link. I wanted to give it to you first, my fans, to make those people feel special. You could give them special discounts just for signing up for your phone number. You could also then go to booking agents and start booking shows, because you'd be like, listen, my Community phone number, I have 200 people and 100 of them are in LA. So I know I could get at least 50 of those people to come buy tickets. And now you're incentivizing people to give you opportunity because you're showing direct value. It's not like, oh, well, on Spotify, it says like my number one city is LA. Like, how are you going to get those people's attention? You have their phone numbers now. So it's a really great way. And then also, even if you're an artist who's like doing your own shows or doing your own tours already, you can then use that as well to drive ticket sales to those events you're already doing, which is great. And just send little reminders like, hey, my show's tomorrow, last minute tickets, like here's a discount code. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can do little sales incentives to really just like build that monetization between like you and your community.
And through the website Community, you can automate a lot of these texts and or schedule them. I think you had mentioned something about scheduling.
Yep, you can automate. You can have direct conversations with fans if you want to respond to their messages. Like if you send out a message and they respond, you can have conversations with them. So lots of amazing features with Community. I'm absolutely obsessed, honestly.
Great.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Kingston,
Nice
does that
meeting
answer
you.
your question? Cool.
Yes. sorry to hog the time.
Cool. Awesome. Let's move on to Apollo. Unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, what's up? A lot of value today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. So my question is, what are like the best platforms to perform and like monetize music in metaverse?
That's a great question. It really depends on where you can build relationships. So what I would do is, because for me to go into all that, like I'd have to pull up my my notepad with all my listings. But so there's like Sandbox, for an example. Sandbox is a piece of land. They have multiple outlets. Then there's other different pieces of plots in the metaverse community.
I can't hear you.
There's a little bit like ruffling going on.
Oh shoot, can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you now.
Okay, so sorry. Where did I cut off?
Like,
Are you talking about Sandbox?
Yes. So I'm saying like there's Sandbox, for an example, that's like digital land that some of it's owned by like casinos and then some of it's owned independently. So it just really depends on where you can build those relationships. Each artist I've helped sort of perform in the metaverse, it's just been relationship building of like, this crypto guy bought this piece of land and then we're like, hey, can we perform? And he's like, yeah, I want to get people to come to my land. Like, and then it's just like relationship based. So honestly, there's no like specific place that will work best. Just go out in Web3. Twitter is the best place for that. Every crypto person is on Twitter. Like they are not on Instagram, they're on Twitter. So if you want to dominate, go to Twitter, #metaverse, #sandbox, #crypto, #web3. Look at all of those conversations. There's also a lot of indie artists that are on like Spotty Wi-Fi, for an example. If you go to his Twitter, he's constantly talking about like, oh, I performed here, I performed in this Web3, I did this, you know? So little things like that, checking indie artists as well. That's a big gem of like finding the right places that you feel like you might fit in the metaverse.
Thank you very much. And I got one more question. Like, so right now I'm like running through TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and then Twitter for like Web3 stuff. And then I have Discord, just like people talking in there, try to talk in there every now and then.
Yeah.
And I have a community number, but I kind of like stopped using it because that was a lot for me to keep up with everything. And like, I think it's time to like start developing like my team for like marketing so I could like spread it out. But how do you, I feel like I really want to get back into the community texting, but how would I, do you have any tips on like balancing like all of this, or like maybe even how to build the right team for all of this?
So automation is your friend. Automation is going to save your life as an artist. Okay. If you can learn how to be automating some of your Twitter posts, your Instagram posts, that can save you a lot of time. Even Discord, there's a lot of automation bots that you can set up to be responding to people posting things for you. I'm not sure how the artist did this, but there's this guy, Daniel Allen, and he has figured out how to automate his Discord. So everything he posts on Twitter goes into his Discord, into the updates community section. So like then everyone, because not everyone might be on Twitter and not everyone might be following you on Twitter or being active there. So the fans are getting updates and then Discord staying updated without you having to manually put in work. Also a big gem is if a lot of artists are trying to find a manager, managers are not necessarily going to manage your social media, right? That's not really their job. Their job is to kind of help you mitigate your business, grow your business, manage the money, manage the opportunities, and elevate the opportunities. So what I would advise, two things. If you don't have money, look in your city, find a university and look for a music university and go find someone who's in school to do marketing, communications, whatever. And they're always looking to intern and grow experience because they're in school and most of the time they need hours to like complete their projects or whatever. So you can get someone like that on your team who could work for you for free. The second thing is if you have a bit of money, you could go to upwork.com and hire a virtual assistant. And honestly, some of these international virtual assistants are like $5, $10 an hour. Like it's very, very affordable. And if you basically just put together like, here's exactly what you need to do, you'll give them direct roles and they could log in for 2-3 hours, $30-$40, and do those roles for you. And then that can allow you as an artist to focus more on the content and the creation side and the music and the artwork and all these things that you should be doing instead of trying to just manage a bunch of social media platforms, you know?
Thank you very much. That was very helpful.
You're welcome.
Awesome. So just to like reiterate, automate as much as possible on your platform, collaborate with university students who want hands-on experience, or go to upwork.com and hire virtual assistants. So those are really great advice. And Apollo, does that answer your question?
Oh, and sorry, Fiverr too. Fiverr is a great way to find social media managers who are super cheap and virtual assistants who are cheap as well. I mean, I haven't used one from Fiverr, but I've heard good things. So don't quote me, but I've seen a lot of YouTube videos of people saying like Fiverr is really great and cheap. So
cool. Awesome. Thank you, Apollo. And we have Preeti. Sorry if I butchered.
No, it's all good. Close enough. It's Prithvi. But yeah, hey, Lynn, great session, by the way. I was just wondering, so do you guys have any experience with like third-party playlisting? I know there are a lot of companies that like Submit Hub, Daily Playlists, and companies like that, you know, independent artists can submit to. But have you guys done any sort of third-party playlisting apart from obviously the Spotify editorial playlist? I also know that there's like a lot of payola and stuff like that where artists have to kind of pay, which is obviously against terms of service of Spotify. But I just wanted to get your thoughts, and if you guys, especially obviously maybe it's not as efficient for larger artists, but for smaller artists, what would be your thoughts on that?
So I just want to say, and this is going to be controversial as fuck, but I know there's a lot of women in the room and I want them to hear this. I know you're a man, but listen, playing by the rules does not help you fucking win. Okay. Let me tell you that right now. That's the only quote you need to write down. Everything in the music industry is for sale. Everything can be paid for and bought. Don't ever feel like, oh, Spotify's terms and services, I can't do this. Think about Digster. Digster is owned by Sony Music. It's a third-party playlisting company that they use to grow their streams for their artists because not every artist on their roster is going to get official playlisting. There's no such thing as like, I can't pay for this or I don't want to break the rules. Like everyone does third-party playlisting. There's nothing wrong with that. The biggest thing is just making sure you're working with a company who you know has done their due diligence to vet these playlists, because you don't want to buy playlists that are obviously pumping bots. That's not going to help you, right? There's a lot of that happening. So you do have to work with like specific companies. I mean, we do have our own like third-party list that we work with because we know how they grow them. A lot of them, they've paid us to like run ads and grow their playlists and stuff like that. But yeah, it's really vetting. Submit Hub to me, like it can be great, but I think Miso Soup has been like more beneficial to artists. And the thing with Submit Hub is that like, the problem is like, you're paying to have someone like review your music. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to get on that list. So if you're going to put money into that, I think honestly, your dollars will probably go further putting it into like Instagram ads and driving that traffic directly to Spotify yourself. Because I mean, Submit Hub is like 50 to $100. And I feel like that could honestly go further on Instagram conversion ads, growing your streams than like the playlisting. Because on Submit Hub, as you know, like if I review it, but I decline it, like I still get paid and you don't get that money back, you know? So it's kind of like almost like throwing money at the wall and seeing what happens. And I understand that it's a good avenue in a sense for artists because it's like cheap, whatever. But like really and truly, like I would just do your research, like, and try to build those relationships yourself. Like if you want to be on Earmilk, go to earmilk.com, look at all the writers, click their names. It usually links to their social media, or type in their name on Twitter, find them, email them, start building that relationship one-to-one. And then you don't have to use Submit Hub. Then every time your song comes out, you have a writer at Earmilk that you've built a relationship with. And don't hesitate to reach out to 5 writers because 4 of them might not answer, but 1 of them might, you know? Same with playlisting. Like you can go on Spotify, type in @Gmail, all the playlists come up. I'm just not a super fan of Submit Hub. So I would say like put your money into other avenues, like even TikTok ads. You know, if you're going to put money somewhere, put it into that. You have way higher chances of blowing up on TikTok and actually converting a ton of streams because people leave the TikTok platform very easily. It's one of the only platforms where people are actually willing to leave the platform. Unlike Instagram, it's hard to get people to leave the platform and go somewhere else. But on TikTok, it's very normal, you know? So I'd highly suggest that. And that can help there's way more benefits to those avenues than like Submit Hub.
Gotcha, thanks. And just real quick, you mentioned something like you type in @gmail.com, Spotify@gmail.com. Could you elaborate on that real quick?
Yeah, so like pretty much you can go to, because a lot of the legit playlisters will have their contact information in their bio on the playlist. So if you go to Spotify and you open it on your desktop and you type search and you type in @gmail.com and click enter, all of the playlists that have emails will show up. And you can look for like hip hop, pop, like whatever your genre, click it, and then their email will be in their bio. And then you can email them directly. Once again, building direct one-to-one relationships, right?
You're a genius. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's true. It's true. She is a genius. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
So now, Jose, would you like to ask your question?
Hi, hey Lynn, thank you for the information for sure.
You're welcome.
So I have a question. I have a band and I'm about to release a song soon, but what would be the ideal timeline to release a single if you've never dropped a song before?
I would give yourself 4 weeks in advance. Reason being is because a lot of artists think like, song's done, let's put it out. 4 weeks in advance allows you to register, like if it's your first ever song, let's say you use TuneCore. Not a fan of DistroKid, by the way, please use TuneCore if you can. TuneCore will allow you to connect your music to TikTok profiles and all the fun stuff that DistroKid doesn't have. But if you use TuneCore, upload your song. Once you upload your song, set the pre-save for like 4 days from now, so people can pre-save it. That is going to then initialize a profile on Spotify for you. Then you can go to Spotify and claim your artist profile. Once you can do that, when you open your Spotify artist profile, at the bottom, it'll say your song's coming out on this date. Click here to submit. You can then right out the gate submit to Spotify official curators yourself. And if you give them 3 to 4 weeks notice, they usually prefer 4 weeks, but if you give them at least 3 weeks minimum, you're pitching directly. And I've actually seen tons of artists land official playlist ads because the music's just good by doing that. So I would say give yourself 4 weeks because you can do gems like that. And then it also gives you and your band time to like create TikTok content, do a photo shoot, organize your photos, like think of your different marketing avenues, play around with ads, like all these different things to lead up to your release, instead of like giving yourself like a week and then you're like stressed out because you're like, my fucking song is dropping next week. Like, what do I do? And then it's just panic. And then you can't really cultivate a strong plan,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, yeah. So I hope everybody took note of that. Give yourself a 4 week timeline. Set up your distributor. TuneCore, you suggested?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Yeah, and then
I have a quick question. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Why you choose TuneCore instead of DistroKid?
To me, TuneCore is just more advanced. I also don't know if you know this, but TuneCore has advanced options. So if you sign up with TuneCore and you're an artist who's generating a lot of royalties, they will actually offer you advances because they're owned by Believe, which is the biggest music distribution company in the world. They've been around since like the fucking 90s, I think. And they're owned. TuneCore owns them now. Or Believe owns them. They bought them. And there's a lot of perks. Like I said, like they have the social connection perk. So like when you upload your song, they'll allow you to connect your song to your TikTok profile, Instagram, Facebook. And I know DistroKid has had a lot of issues with that. TuneCore has better pre-save links, and they just have so many more like options. Like if you're an artist who doesn't want to learn how to do publishing, you can sign up for TuneCore Publishing. That's more money because you technically get paid twice every time someone streams your song, when every artist thinks it's once. They think like, oh, I got my distribution royalties, I'm good. No, you get paid twice. You get paid on your publishing and your distro. So, you got to have that set up because that's a lot of money. Your mechanical royalties pay more than your distro company does. So you guys could be missing out on like massive amounts of money. And also if you do register your publishing now, you can backdate it for like I think 3 years. They may have changed it to 2, but I think 3. So I just think TuneCore has way more like options and capabilities to support artists than like DistroKid. DistroKid's just like, get your song on Spotify. That's it. You know, when really you need like support if you don't have a distributor, like an official distributor or a label or like a manager, you know, you need a proper platform.
Got you. And just another quick question. When releasing singles, I haven't seen TuneCore in a while because I use DistroKid. But does TuneCore, do you still pay for every single, or is just like a one-time payment and then you're able to pay? You don't have to pay at all because DistroKid.
You'd have to check their website because I know they just changed their model. They've kind of become like more of like a unique model now where they have like the paid subscription option and then they have like an 80-20 split deal. So I would say go on their site and look because I know they just changed all their plans. I think just a few months ago. So go take a look. I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to say, you know, yes if I'm not 100%.
Thank you, Lynn. Thank you for your insights.
You're welcome. Yeah, I hope it helps. That's, you know, every time I come on a panel, I just try to give like as much knowledge as I can because I feel like every panel is just like everyone just saying, yeah, you know, you could do this, you could do, and I'm like, give us some details, you know?
Yeah, no, you've been so helpful so far. Thank you so much. Okay, so we'll move on to the next question from Cheval. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, so first of all, I want to jump in on the thank yous. Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
The industry is like competitive and cutthroat, and every time I see someone like you just sharing 10 years of experience and wisdom with artists, I'm just so excited and I just feel so motivated to keep going. I wanted to ask kind of like if you have any advice for someone who just wants to write for others. I'm leaning towards like I should just put my stuff online and just see if any artist wants to collab. But do you have any tips for that for someone who doesn't want to be an artist, just want to write for others?
What country are you in?
I'm in the US.
US, perfect. Okay, US is a great place. A lot of songwriters there making a lot of money. Good opportunities. Are you currently signed up with ASCAP or BMI? Like a pro? No? Do you have any music out?
Not yet, but I have it all to do, so pretty much.
Okay, so ASCAP and BMI have a lot of great opportunities where they host songwriting camps for bigger artists. So if you're not really super in the songwriting camp world and you're not sure how to get into songwriting camps, using a company like that to get in on some of those things is great because then you can network. And like once you get into a writing camp, you're meeting all these songwriters and be like, oh, like, how are you getting in songwriting camps? How are you? Like, you know, that's a great way. Jessie Reyes, I'm sure a lot of you know her. She's made tons of money and a huge impact in her career by songwriting for others. Even though she has a lot of hit records, Jessie Reyes literally wrote like Promises by Sam Smith, like so many huge songs that like nobody knows that. She wrote a song for Dua Lipa, and that's all from her being in like songwriting camps. The other thing besides ASCAP and BMI, whoever you register with, you just call the contact number and say, hey, like I'm interested in getting in some songwriting camps that you guys have. How do I do that? They'll tell you. And then also networking with like producers and studios, because most of the time producers are either getting invited to songwriting camps or studios are hosting songwriting camps. So getting in as many studios as you can and being like, hey, if you have an artist come through and you need songwriting, hit me up. If you have a camp, hit me up, you know, like, and just really like networking is your biggest golden ticket, because once you write one song and you have that credit, you can leverage that credit and go to a next songwriting camp and be like, hey, I already wrote, I'm good, you know? And also you'll need ASCAP or BMI anyway if you're writing songs to register your rights and your portion of that songwriting. So super essential you sign up now. So when you get in those songwriting camps, you could be like, let's get the splits done. Here's my number. I'm getting my piece of that pie, you know? So I think setting yourself up for success first and then figuring out how do I get into those camps and network with the right people who are in those avenues already.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Signing up to register, can you just tell me like the name of the platform and also the BMI one? How do I spell it?
Yeah, so BMI is BMI. I think it's BMI.com. but if you just Google BMI, or ASCAP, ASCAP, it would be one or the other. You wouldn't sign up with both. You would pick which one. I think I've heard better things about BMI, so that might be your best bet, but I'm sure all the artists in the chat will be able to tell you what their favorite is.
Awesome. Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Yeah, someone just dropped the link. There you go, bmi.com.
Okay, great. So we're just gonna take a few more questions because we're running out of time. But Lynn, if the community does have any more questions, is there any way they could contact you?
Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And your Instagram is icons Isla, and I'll put that in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll take a few more questions. So okay, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. Lani, LXNNY.
Is Lenny.
Lenny. Got it.
Close to my name. I love it.
There we go. Yeah, I appreciate your time. Not gatekeeping information is a very beautiful thing. So I appreciate you taking the time out.
I agree.
And in the same token, advertising yourself and marketing yourself. I think that's very great with your services.
Thank you.
But I just wanted to pick your brain. I know we're talking about different distributors with DistroKid and TuneCore. I've been hearing a lot of stuff about UnitedMasters, especially when it comes to like the rap and the hip hop world, especially since you have experience within the rap and hip hop world. Do you have any thoughts on UnitedMasters? Have you heard anything about it? Do you feel like it's a good platform compared to the other two that can really help push artists and get names out there? Because I know they have like, when you pay for the subscription, it's like the sync deals and all these other opportunities you have. I just want to know if you could shed some light on that.
So yeah, here's my take on United. I think artists need to understand that every distributor does exactly the same thing. The only difference is their plans, right? Because every distributor is doing the same thing. No matter who you go to, all they're doing is they're taking your song, getting it on all streaming platforms. I haven't been with UnitedMasters, so this is only like sort of hearsay, but I have heard a lot that artists have sort of had issues with a lot of takedowns on their music. If they are marketing in certain avenues and stuff like that, it gets flagged a lot with United. And also my take on United is I love the fact that they're giving artists the opportunity to be synced in like NBA 2K and have like syncing opportunities and like they have their Apple Music playlist. But I also challenge artists to think about the other side of that, which is like how many artists are on their platform. So you're literally competing with like millions of artists for like 10 spots on NBA 2K, which is like absurd. And like the artists I have seen them pick haven't been really like indie artists. Like I think one of the like, I could be wrong, but I think it was like an NBA somebody, not a young boy, but you know how in his clique there's like a few different guys, like one of those artists like got added. And I was like, well, I mean, he's already got like a fan base and like whatever, you know? So I feel like it's hard to say because I haven't seen them really show any indie artists they've put on and like taken off. So what I would say is if you're interested in license and sync, because that's an amazing area to making money off your music and so lucrative, like, oh my God, there's so many opportunities right now. There's a disgusting amount of content coming out from companies. So like they're coming out with TikTok content, Instagram content, commercial, TV, radio, like they have 7 avenues that they need music for. And the good thing about license and sync right now is back in the day, it was pretty gatekeeped where like you would get 50K for like a 1 minute placement. But now there's less money and more opportunity. So there's 5 placements for 10K each or 10 placements for 5K each. So there's actually more availability right now. So I would say if that's what you want, put all your time and energy into building relationships with sync managers or sync companies or producers who work in sync, because if you could land 3 syncs on your own, that will literally set you up to make 6 figures a year off your music, no question. You know, much rather than relying on a company like UnitedMasters, who you don't know what deals they have behind the curtain, you know what I mean? And you don't really know if like you're gonna land something. And I would just try and do it myself, you know, if it was me personally.
I got you. That's good advice. And especially since like you talked about earlier, like since it is like a subscription, you have to pay for it. It's like put that money into actually paying for TuneCore because they have more opportunities and then like, you know, Facebook and Instagram ads and stuff like that. So.
And once again, if you want to license and sync your music, you have to have your publishing set up. So if you use TuneCore publishing and you're like, I have everything in one place, my ASCAP set up, my publishing set up with TuneCore was like $70, all good. because I can't really get into like the publishing game. I will say everyone needs to Google Song Trust. They have all the resources and educational downloadables to how to publish, how publishing works. Like it's all free on their site. So go to songtrust.com. But yeah, like if you don't want to do that and like manually do all that work, TuneCore is right there, So if you want to get in that world, like, and I think that's another reason why a lot of artists at UnitedMasters might not be landing these placements, because if I hit you up and I was like, hey, we picked your song, what's your ASCAP number? What's this? What's that? What's your publishing? And you don't have that, next, because these companies don't wait on artists to get their shit together. Like you have to have all that registered and then, jump over. So.
Cool. I appreciate that insight. I really do. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're just gonna take one more question. Ashley, do you want to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Yes. Hi. I'm obviously gonna say thank you so much for your time. It's nice to meet you. I'm Ashley Sid. So
to meet you.
So the question that I have is, it seems like there's like a lot of plus sides to TuneCore, and earlier you were mentioning more so when you're starting out, deciding which one you're gonna go with. Now, if you've already you've already released a few songs, see, in my situation, it's like I've already released a few through DistroKid. How would one go about, I don't know, like either switching if that feels like that's something you need to do, or I guess like
transferring your catalog to a different distributor?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
it's kind of like the question, or like, so you can use the tools that they are offering,
Yeah. So a lot of artists think once they upload their music, they're sort of stuck. But that's not the case. So I probably shouldn't even be sharing this, but if your song ever gets taken down on Spotify, because let's say you paid a playlisting company and you thought they were legit and they weren't. Spotify under the Supreme Court is not allowed to take your music down. They just don't pay you for those streams. It's your distributor who takes the song down. So you can actually go to another distributor and re-upload that song using same artwork, same song, same ISRC code, everything exact, same release date. Like under TuneCore where it says, has this already been released? You click yes, and you put the exact same release date. And if you do all of that, TuneCore puts your song up, you go back to DistroKid, you delete it, you wait for TuneCore to put the song up first. And then once they put the song up, you go to DistroKid, delete it, good. All your streams stay the same. You don't lose any of your streams. Numbers are all the same. Everything's the same. I also would say don't delete your DistroKid account because they might still owe you money. So just keep an eye on the DistroKid account for about 3 to 6 months because they might still have like backdated money they owe you. So keep that account, but just move everything over to TuneCore. And that's how it works. All you do is just use your same information, and ISRC code is the key because your ISRC code is what registers your music with Spotify. Spotify literally has like a back end like generator thing you can go to and like search ISRC codes in their system, and it's still up there, like even when your song gets taken down. But yeah, same ISRC code. That's the only thing. All the info the same, and then boom, you can move your entire catalog over to TuneCore without losing anything, not losing release dates, not losing traction on your algorithms. It's actually kind of funny because I've seen a few artists transfer their catalog and then release radar kicks in thinking it's like a new release. And then like they start getting streams, but like it's not a new release. Like, so it can work sometimes in your favor. But yeah, that's how you do it. You just move all your information and then you can move to a new distributor. Because if you right now as an artist, for an example, got a distro deal, like let's say Believe or Empire came in and they're like, we're gonna offer you a distro deal. That's what they'll do. They'll make you fill out a Google form and enter all your information, your ISRC code, release date, length of the song, song title, feature artist, blah, blah, blah. And they just transfer your catalog over to them. So you can do the same thing. And I highly suggest every single artist here start a Google Doc. And every time you release a song, name, track length, ISRC code, who did I release it with? What was the release date? So if you ever need to move your catalog to a new distributor, or you get a distro deal, or you're just like, oh, I want to be with a different company, you can just go to your Google Doc and copy and paste, copy and paste.
So then, because I know like the IRC codes, they're like typically like since if you use DistroKid, they give you one. Would it still be that same code even if you were going to move it?
Yes, because you're basically a distributor is giving you an ISRC code because they've registered your metadata to connect your information with this code. So wherever that code goes, that's where your song goes. So it doesn't matter if you move it to a different distributor, like every distributor is just essentially registering your ISRC code and giving that to you. So once you have that ISRC code, you want to take that with you everywhere you go. Even if you change companies 5 times and you get 5 different distro deals, that ISRC code goes everywhere you go.
Cool. Does that answer all your questions, Ashley?
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Cool. Well, that brings us to the end of our live audience Q&A, and that also brings us to the end of our event. Tears. Just kidding. Anyways, if you learned something new, please unmute yourself and give me another woo woo. Woo woo.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Lynn, thank you so much for being here again and for allowing us to pick your brain. And I'm sure a lot of us in the audience, from rising artists to industry professionals, have a lot of takeaways just from listening to you. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Honestly, it means the world. I love sharing this information. I think more artists should be understanding and knowing these things, and I wish more people shared them, and I'm happy to be one of those people. So thank you.
Of course. And quick thing, where can we find you again on the internet?
Anywhere on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Icon Island, on every platform.
Awesome. And I also want to thank our audience for being here today. There's so many of you here who came out to hang out with us on Saturday. So thank you all for being here. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Jordan, who is our events manager, who will tell us about our upcoming events. So Jordan, take it away.
Hi everyone. Thank you all so much for being here again. This was a really great event, and thank you, Lynn. I saw someone, I think it was Derek, said that this information that you gave today was worth way more than his $20,000 postgraduate degree. I was like,
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, I feel that
very well today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I wanted to tell y'all about our next events coming up. And I know Lynn mentioned Music Sync, and we have a music supervision and sync event next weekend. So coming out for that. Then after that, we'll have a Web3 safety event. And then we'll kick off May with our accessibility in the music industry event, and then head into live and touring. So talking about all things touring and live events. So get ready for that. Thank you all for being here today.
Awesome. Thank you, Jordan.
Okay, Kat, sorry.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kit Kat. I'm the general manager of Finesse Media. Thank you all so much for being here again and again. If you loved Lynn, give me unmute yourself, clap one last time. Just a little, yes, she killed that today. Amazing. Love women in music, okay? Love them. Cool. And so can we also keep ourselves unmuted to give a woo woo to Abby and Emily? This was Emily's first event with Finesse Media. So let's give them a little woo woo. Amazing, amazing. So thank you all again. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Abby, Emily, and thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week for the Music Supervision and Sync event. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.